welcome to Knox Guitar Box. I'm your host, Andy LeGrand. Today's guest is Bryan Parris, owner and luthier at Parris Guitars. For more than 25 years, Bryan has helped musicians get the very best from their instruments through professional setups, precision fretwork, refrets, modifications, structural repairs, and restorations. Bryan and I both arrived in Knoxville around the same time, and I've had the opportunity to watch this home-based repair business grow into one of East Tennessee's most trusted guitar shops. I've also been a customer of Bryan's for many years, and he's been a valued supporter of Knoxville classical guitar. In our conversations, we'll talk about how Bryan built his business, how guitar repair technology has evolved, and what musicians should know about caring for their instruments and the difference a professional setup can make. This is Knox Guitar Box, an FMX production with support from FlintMeryl Music and LeGrand Music Studios. Let's welcome Bryan Parris. Hey, Bryan, thanks for being here today.
Oh, great to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks for including me.
Oh, yeah. You and I did a little research on you, and I didn't realize that you moved to Knoxville in 2009.
The same year as you, right?
Literally the same year. Yeah. So that's 16 years at this point, I guess, right?
Yes, yeah. It's been almost 17 years because I moved here in June of 2009.
I worked for Lowe's while I was going to college, and then I transferred in, and then got out. Yeah.
Oh wow! I never knew that. So I moved here. Yeah. So I was in the roofing business in South Carolina.
Okay.
And in 2008, we had the housing market, big issues, and so all of the stuff that I had done to prepare for 2009. Just the banks decided not to loan the money. So I had contracted like all of these big roofing, commercial jobs. Yeah. And one by one, my contractors were calling me and said, no, we're not going to be able to do that. We're going to have to cancel that. Yeah. And it was like really all of my money for 2009. So I didn't know really what to do. And in the meantime, I was also in the ministry. So I was pastoring a small church there in South Carolina and running the roofing company.
Okay.
So I got the opportunity to come to Knoxville from a friend of mine who had gone to Carson Newman with me. So he's a pastor here in town and offered me a chance to come and be on staff full time, at their church. And I had never been on a big church staff like that. It was a church with 1,000 members or more. So it was a lot different than the things that I'd done before because I'd pretty much done, very small staff roles, small churches. Yeah. So I moved to Knoxville, for that. Yeah. And so that was my initial reason to come to Knoxville. Now my wife is from Sevierville.
Okay. So there's some connections. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus she and I met at Carson Newman.
Okay.
So we met at Carson Newman. My wife was my Spanish tutor. So I was flunking Spanish, and our teacher said, you need a tutor. There's this girl in the class, who can help you. And so she and I started studying together every evening, and she would quiz me on vocabulary words, and I would just make her laugh. And so one thing led to another, and we got together.
The rest is history.
The rest is history. It's a long history, about 32 years.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations. That's a feat these days. So
but the Carson Newman, thing is a big draw to this area. Knoxville was always our town. We would come to. So back then, that was in the early 90s. We would drive to Knoxville to go to music stores. Broadway Sound was there, and then there was a music store in the East Town Mall. Yeah. And I don't even remember what it was called, but there was a music store there. We would drive here for Krispy Kreme's and Daryl's restaurant.
Was Daryl's a barbecue place?
No, it was kind of a more of like an Americana, like an Applebee's kind of thing, but it was a lot better. Yeah. And they just had this really cool vibe. They were out here on Kingston Pike, and so they had places where you would sit, and they had there was a fire truck and there's elevators and all these things inside the restaurant. Cool. And so that was our big date night.
So you've done ministry work in a church, and you did roofing, and I know that you've also done some other side things, like some other companies that are service-based companies. And so how'd you get into guitar? Your shop is a formidable shop here in Knoxville,
right?
And excellent work, and you've got some equipment, I think, that's exclusive to this area. And but I remember someone recommended that I contact you, and I called you, and you said, "Yep, just bring it by." And bring it by was to your house.
It was at my house.
In the front door. Take a left, and what your dining room I think should have been.
It was a formal living room.
Okay. And separate room.
Yeah. So right there, it was. Some people would use it for a living room. Some people would use it for an office.
Yeah, I got
So it was right there off, and I, even though that was right in the middle of my house, my wife was, nice enough to let me take it over, and I fixed it up like a garage.
Yeah,
and I had pegboard on the wall and all my tools and tons and tons of guitars, and it got to the point where I would have 40 or more guitars one in that little bitty 12 by 16
I remember
room.
I think the first time I went, you probably had that maxed out.
You
had guitars on one side, some guitars on the other side, and then you had a place for amps and a workbench and strings behind the counter, all that kind of stuff. It was pretty impressive for a small space like that. Like it was just a cool place, and not that your shop's not cool, but I just remember like, this is pretty slick, because you set it up nice, and that seems to be the way you do things. And how'd you get into it?
That goes way back to my upbringing. My dad was a tool guy, and so when my dad he wasn't into hunting and fishing, and he didn't like sports, but he loved tools.
Yeah.
And so when we would do things together on a weekend, it was always fixing something. And so I grew up with a love for, working with my hands, doing things to fix things around the house. When I became a little bit older and was living in apartments and things like that, there's really nothing to do.
Yeah.
But I always had guitars.
Yeah.
And so I just started, working on my own stuff, swapping pickups and.
So upgrading or trying new things and just kind of tinkering.
Yeah. I broke a guitar once and had to figure out how to fix it. And that was, I was very young at the time. I was probably, 20. Yeah. At the time when I started thinking, well, I never really thought I would be in this business.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, even 15 years ago when I moved to Knoxville, I wasn't thinking that one day I would have.
It's funny how things evolve,
I would have a guitar repair shop.
Yeah.
And it really only did that. I mean, you mentioned that, the other businesses that I've done. So I came here for the church, and I was with church people all the time. And so I just really didn't have any way to meet, musicians and, and so having that shop at the house was really great because people would come over to the house and they would talk, really different than what we have now. Yeah. Just to sit down and chat and talk about guitars and, and have conversations while I'm tuning stuff. And, so that was really it was really a sweet time to have, to have people in the house. And I met, there was a point I felt like I know that I didn't know all the guitar players in Knoxville, but I thought I did.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of guitar players in Knoxville. But.
There are a lot. And I still don't know every guitar player in Knoxville. So having the shop in the house was, was really a side business to be able to meet people.
Yeah.
At first.
Yeah.
And what I was doing when I first moved to Knoxville, what I was doing is I was buying clunkers at pawn shops and, Craigslist and things like that. And I would fix them up and I would resell them.
Yeah.
I got a crash course in business, it was trial by fire.
Yeah.
And so I started a pressure washing business, and, people that come in the shop still talk about, they said, are you still washing houses? Or are you still, doing driveways? That kind of stuff, which I never really wanted to do that. It was just a quick way to start making money.
Yeah.
I will say that all of the stuff that I do in the guitar repair shop right now, business wise, I learned pressure washing.
Okay.
And so you learn that business principles kind of translate to different businesses. But when I, after 3.5 years, I was kind of done with the pressure washing business. So I sold that company and started a Christmas light business called Christmas Lights Knoxville that puts up Christmas lights on all we had, a couple hundred houses that we put lights on. Starts up in October, ends, the first week of December.
And do you still do that some?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not. I sold that company as well in 2023. But when I sold my pressure washing business and went, full bore into the Christmas lights, I also started Parris Guitars, which was called Bryan Parris Guitar Repair. At the time, because I had rents. You ask about the employees. I wanted rents to come work for me, but I couldn't have employees in my house, and we had a baby at the, a dog barks and, all the stuff. So that's when we opened the shop, the storefront shop, and Rance was my first employee. So he was able to run the shop for me while I was out hanging Christmas lights 4 months out of the year.
Yeah.
So I really built the business backwards. Because I hired Rance first, then I hired Josh. Josh is an electronics genius, and so he came to work for us. About a year after that. A little bit later, I hired Elias. Elias came to us as a apprentice, so to speak. He's a young guy. He's 21 now. He just turned 21. He's still with us. Has been with us for about 4 years now, and then later hired Tony, and so Elias and Rance do setups. Josh does electronics. Tony does structural repairs, as do I. Yeah. And so between the five of us, we can get everything done, but I hired myself last.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Because
you were doing other things.
Because I was doing other things. Yeah. And so when we got the PLEK machine, that was when I was selling my Christmas lights business. So everything's been like you have to quit something to start something.
Yeah.
And so I was able to quit the Christmas lights, and I had a company that wanted to buy that business, and so I was able to make enough from that business to buy the PLEK machine and hire myself full time at the shop. So that was 2023, when all that came together. Yeah, and so now I'm full time, and all my other guys are there. Yeah. As well, but I'm the last guy in. Yeah. So that means I'm the first guy out. That's what I hear.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Probably so. Yeah. So what is a PLEK machine? What does it do?
Well, the PLEK machine is a computerized fret dressing machine. And so in order for a guitar to play its best, the frets have to be perfectly level. And we've always done that by hand, and we did a good job by hand. Mm-hmm. But the PLEK machine allows us to see so much more. We can see little variances in the fretboard.
You can do that. You can do that yourself too, but the machine
can
more accurate.
The machine can see 1,000th of a millimeter.
Okay, you cannot.
No, nobody can.
Yeah.
I mean, you're only as good as your feeler gauges and your straight edges.
Yeah.
So the PLEK will see a lot more, and with a lot of manufacturers having PLEK machines in the factory, Gibson has them in the factory, Martin has them in the factory. A lot of the smaller builders, have PLEK machines, in house. Yeah. So in order to get those, back to factory standards, the PLEK machine helps us to do that. Plus it just makes a huge difference in your guitar.
It's from playability standpoint, it's very easy to. What is that process like? Is it?
It takes us, we might spend an hour and a half, on a guitar to do the fretwork, and then it goes to setup.
Yeah, okay.
After that, so they all get a full setup after. After the PLEK. The PLEK makes the frets perfect.
Okay, cool.
And that's what's.
You guys are kind of. There's not a whole lot of those around.
There's two shops in Tennessee that you could walk into and say, I want to have my guitar PLEK'd.
You're one of them.
One is ours. The other is Joe Glazer in Nashville. Yeah. But then there's some smaller, there's several machines in Nashville, but several of them are at Gibson.
Yeah.
And then a couple more are at small builders, that have implemented that into their manufacturing process.
Yeah. So, and does it matter the radius of the fretboard? Like, is it if it's a 2-inch flat neck or a radius fretboard or a begin, a lot of the beginner fretboards have a big radius, or something like that. But right. I mean, does it matter?
The machine measures all that.
Okay, cool. That's interesting.
So we can see if it's we can tell if it's a 16 or a 12 or a 16.2.
That's really cool.
It'll tell us exactly what the radius is.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then we can actually pull the frets, change the radius of the fretboard. So
with the machine?
With the machine.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the machine will do all that work. Then we have to refret it, of course.
Right, yeah.
So we could turn a 12-inch radius into a 16 or
gotcha.
Within reason, because there's inlays and things like that.
Yeah,
when you start carving a piece of wood, if it's got inlays, you're taking a risk on losing something.
Yeah.
That might be crucial. It's funny to me how people don't understand what a good setup feels like until they get one.
Yeah.
I think you asked me like, what maybe that's a later question, but everybody should get their guitar set up.
Yeah.
And you think about, well, I just paid, $500 for this guitar. I don't want to pay another $150 to get it, set up and new strings and all that. But it really, really makes a difference.
Yeah.
Our shop, because I come at guitar repair, as a business person,
mm-hmm.
We've got a mission statement, and we, partner with a lot of different, organizations
mm-hmm.
and people
mm-hmm.
like Knoxville Classical Guitar.
Mm-hmm.
We want to do that. But one of the things that's really important to us is inspiring music.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we say that is that, great playing instruments inspire.
Yeah.
And so if we inspire,
hence the need for a good setup.
Yes. Hence the need for a good setup.
Yeah.
So if we can make your guitar play better, it's going to inspire you to make, more music or better music. And then better music, has this huge effect on the community. It has this effect on, mental health and, all of these benefits of music. I Googled one day, I was like, what are the benefits of music? And it was like stuff I didn't even think about.
Yeah.
When you listen to music, your mood changes.
Yeah.
When you're in a restaurant and music is playing and there's a band on stage, it changes your experience there. Yeah. And so if we can do things as a company to help inspire,
mm-hmm.
better music, and that's our mission. And so our mission says that we blend, old world craftsmanship,
mm-hmm.
because we're gonna take the necks off of Martins, and we're gonna reset necks, and we're gonna re-glue bridges, and we're gonna do all of the technical stuff that is handwork. But we also want to combine that with modern technology like the PLEK machine,
right?
Those kind of things. But the technology is important for us,
mm-hmm.
and even the way we correspond with customers, we do we do nothing with paper. We say we're paperless. The truth of that is that when we first moved in the shop, we had an iPad and I bought a printer, and we were going to print out things, and we could never get the printer to work. So I just said, we're paperless.
There you go.
And so now we're still paperless. But our technology that we use to invoice customers and communicate with customers, it's pretty slick.
Yeah.
It works, really, really well.
Well, and smooth experiences are important, Plus, you don't want to have an office space moment where you take a printer out and kick it in the field, that kind of stuff, right? So,
exactly.
But we all need to let some things go sometimes, though. So you also do installations like I've actually, I think with my classical, you put in a lyric that I have, and one of my classicals, the LR bags. You still do that? You still?
We've been a preferred stocking dealer with LR bags since 2013.
Okay.
So it's going on 13 years.
Yeah.
that I've been carrying, LR Bags,
Yeah.
Products. So we do a lot of acoustic instrument installs.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of electric stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like LR Bags. I use the LR Bags Anthem SL in both of my guitars that I play live.
Yeah.
So anytime I'm playing out, that's what.
Yeah, I had a Guild Jumbo, and you put an Anthem and a lyric in it. No, it was an Anthem.
It was a dual source.
Yeah, it was a M80 or M1.
It was an Anthem SL and an M80 or an M1.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I think it was the older one. Not the
I've done both.
And then we had the two jacks, two
outputs. I remember we cut a hole in it and put a battery box so you could have access to the battery.
Yeah, yeah. That sounded great too. I was copying a guitarist. I mean, it was a guy who played. It was a country band, and he used his acoustic for the electric sound, and it sounded fantastic. So I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah, a lot of guys will do that, and you'll run the magnetic pickup out to like a pedal board, and where you can have effects on that, and then your dry sound, just goes to a PA, which sounds. So you've got the acoustic sound, plus you've got this kind of over sampling.
It was really fun.
Yeah,
I let that guitar go though, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So.
I do like the classes. We started our classes back last year.
Yeah, I remember.
Where we do an electric guitar setup class. We do an acoustic guitar setup class, and those two have been especially the electric guitar setup class. That's been the most popular, and we limit that to 5 people at a time. The cost last year was I think $300. And you get a little toolkit, some little things that you can use at home, to set up a guitar. Because the purpose of that class is not to teach you how to take my job. It takes a long time to get good at this stuff. Yeah. That's what I tell people is, when people are wanting to get into the business or whatever, it takes a long time to be really proficient.
Yeah.
In this work, but. We want people to know enough about their guitar to know how to adjust the truss rod.
Right, yeah.
For seasonal changes.
Yeah.
We want people to know enough about their guitar that when they pick it up, they can say, okay, there's something not right, or this doesn't play like it used to, and kind of have an understanding of what has changed and how to make that better.
Yeah.
But so that's the main reason for the classes.
It's cool that you offer that. I need to take one myself because we know when something's wrong with our guitars here. But at the same time, even since you've been coming and picking up guitars here, we've had conversations like, oh, I see now that fret's high, or this is my eyes kind of.
And the acoustic class is cool too, because in the acoustic class. We teach about, how to identify loose braces, how to, what to do if you're, check the bridge and make sure it's not lifting up. And a lot of those things you really need to take to a luthier to have them fixed. But at least you understand that this is a big deal or this is not.
Yeah.
Having the drop off location here is a big deal. I mean, I know that we don't have all that many guitars, coming back and forth, but it makes things feel a lot closer for people.
Yeah.
When they live in Fountain City and they can drop something off.
Yeah. The convenience element's really, really cool. I mean, it's even like we had someone come in today to purchase strings and they were like, man, I'm so glad I walked in this building. I was like, now I don't have to drive across town, and that's a big deal. Of course, Knoxville traffic has gotten worse. So it's a really big deal, so for being able to drop a guitar off here for your business, is really, that's people like they come in with the guitar and say, I'm so glad I could drop this guitar off here. It's cool. So,
right.
Yeah. That's really cool.
And then some of those are customers that have been customers of ours for years. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh gosh, finally.
Yeah.
It works out really good.
And we do it the average once a week. So you pick it up and then you take it back over there and it's in a queue and it gets fixed. And then sometime within the next week or so, it's back.
Yeah. And what people need to know is that when you drop it off here, it goes into our big queue.
Yeah.
So just because it sits here for a week doesn't slow down the repair.
Right. Yeah.
Because if you drop it off on August 1st, we don't pick it up till August 8th. As far as our queue goes, it was dropped off
August 1st.
On August 1st.
Right.
And so that it takes a priority over.
That's fair and awesome. So that's cool.
For later jobs.
That's cool.
I'm very thankful for, what we have here.
Yeah.
I'm really thankful for my employees and that they get what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
By talking about our core values, there's four things. It's creativity, customer service, teamwork, and growth.
Yeah.
And on the creativity side, all of my guys can do this stuff.
Yeah.
They can think outside the box and they can come up with creative solutions. I think one of the interview questions that we talked about was, we might talk about is this a technical job or is it an artistic job? And the truth is it's both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you look at a problem, there's never just one way to fix it.
Right.
And so all of my guys are able to do that. And that's one of the things that I look for when I'm hiring, employees, as I just want to make sure that they have that creativity piece and that they like people enough to be decent, at customer service.
Yeah.
And then the teamwork thing is they've got to be able to work together.
Yeah.
Because what we do is we don't have, while a lot of shops like mine, might have a team of luthiers and they all do everything.
Yeah.
And you take your guitar to them and okay, this one's going to go to Bob and this one's going to go to Larry and this one's going to go, to whoever. And that person will, from the very beginning, they'll do all the electronics and they'll do the finish repairs and they'll do, and so your guitar gets, this one guy. I've taken a different approach. As far as I know, there's not many shops that do what I do, is that I've set up our shop in departments. And so we have, Josh sort of runs the electronics department and Tony sort of, along with me, we run the structural repair department. And then we've got the PLEK machine, which is another department. Yeah. And then we've got the setup crew, which is a fifth department.
Yeah.
And so when a guitar comes into us, it's going to go to Josh. And it's going to go to Tony, and it's going to come to me, and then it's going to go to one of the setup guys before it ever goes out the door. Yeah. So there may be five of us that work on the same instrument. Yeah. So teamwork is a huge core value because of the way that we have
that's really cool.
Have built our business.
Yeah, and I know all your guys, and I've met them all. Know some better than others, but man, they're all great team. Yeah, very fantastic, good attitudes, lots of fun. So. Yeah. Well, thanks, man, for being here today and for talking to us. I mean, it's awesome. Yeah. Appreciate you coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Love the opportunity. I'm thankful for what you guys do over here. I mean, what a great little space, to have for Knoxville. Yeah. For people to be able to come in here and experience art of every kind. Yeah. Yeah. So it's great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I want to take a moment to share an exercise known as the spider. I realize there are dozens of exercises for the guitar named the Spider, but this one takes the cake. I learned this exercise from my instructor when I was in college, and it stayed with me ever since. The exercise is designed to develop dexterity, but it also strengthens the mental connection between each left-hand finger and its placement on the fretboard. The goal is to move each finger independently while keeping the rest of the hand relaxed and stable. As you work through this pattern, try not to shift or twist your hand to reach each note. Position your hand so that every finger can reach its assigned fret, and then move only the fingers required for each position. I find that if I set up in the fourth position of this exercise before I begin, I can play the exercise with minimal hand motion. Begin slowly and don't practice it excessively at first. This exercise can create tension in the hand, the wrist, or the arm if you force the movement or you continue after becoming fatigued. The goal is relaxation and control, and not speed at first. Eventually you will feel tension, and as you feel it building, stop, relax your hand by dropping it to the side, and return to it later. You'll see the complete pattern on the screen, and the image will also be available for download from the Knox Guitar Box podcast page at knoxvilleclassicalguitar.com or flintmerylmusic.com. Does your guitar buzz, feel difficult to play, struggle to stay in tune, or simply not feel quite right? Parris Guitars provide professional setups, precision fretworks, refrets, and electronics work, modifications, structural repairs, and restorations for guitars and other fretted instruments. They also use PLEK services using advanced technology to create exceptionally accurate and consistent playing surfaces. Instruments can be dropped off at Parris Guitars in West Knoxville or FlintMeryl Music in Fountain City. Learn more at parrisguitars.com. Whether you're picking up your instrument for the first time or you're preparing for your next performance, LeGrand Music offers private instruction with experienced professional musicians. Lessons are available for guitar, piano, voice, violin, cello, drums, bass, ukulele, flute, and more. Students also have opportunities to participate in bands and ensembles, instrument-intensive songwriting and music theory, music appreciation, and music technology classes. In-person and online lessons are available for children, teenagers, and adults. Learn more at legrandmusic.org. If you need an instrument, accessories or new strings, or help finding the right gear, FlintMeryl Music serves students and teachers, working musicians with guitars, ukulele, orchestral instruments, strings, reeds, accessories, rentals, and special orders. Visit FlintMeryl Music inside the Fountain City Arts Center at 213 Hotel Road, Knoxville, Tennessee, or learn more at flintmerylmusic.com. Become a member of Knoxville Classical Guitar and experience more of the music you love while helping classical guitar thrive in East Tennessee. Membership benefits vary by level and may include admission to professional concerts, access to artist circle concerts and performances, and opportunities to attend master classes or study directly with visiting artists. Members also become part of a community of guitarists, students, and teachers, and music lovers. Your membership helps bring internationally recognized guitarists and performers to Knoxville while supporting educational programs and community ensembles and opportunities for local musicians. Membership begins at just $10 per month. Learn more and become a member at knoxvilleclassicalguitar.com. Now showing at the Fountain City Arts Center is Out of My Mind, an exhibit featuring the work of Alan Sibley. Come experience the exhibit while discovering the Art Center's classes, workshops, figure drawing sessions, homeschool programs, and other opportunities for artists and art lovers of all ages. The Fountain City Art Center is located at 213 Hotel Road. Stop by, explore the gallery, and see Out of My Mind by Alan Sibley. This is Knox Guitar Box. Thank you for listening.